Because all we heard about was this 5-person submersible that went down. You didn't hear nothing else about anybody else passing away at sea, did you?
What happened here?
More than 300 Pakistani nationals have been killed in sinking of an overcrowded fishing trawler off the coast of Greece. The latest tragedy to expose the refugee crisis that's confronting the European Union as tens of thousands seek sanctuary from war, persecution, and poverty. The chairman of the Pakistan Senate, Mohammed Sadiq, disclosed the number in a statement Sunday, sending condolences to the grieving families of the dead. Over 300. Our thoughts and prayers are with you, and we pray that the departed souls find eternal peace. Now, a week ago, it was 650 million that perished at sea in a boat that went down.
What do you mean that number?
That was on here too. It's all these numbers.
We don't never hear about these boats that are taking these migrants to other countries.
So then somebody on Facebook was upset about people making fun of the submersible people.
Yeah.
The 5 submersible people, and said, don't you guys have a heart or whatever? I'm paraphrasing. So I wrote under his comment, okay, that's great. That's wonderful. But I also want to bring to everybody's attention, it's really not in the news, about these hundreds and hundreds of people that are dying on boats trying to flee their country from war.
Right.
And poverty.
I don't think, unless we're catching it on the news, a lot of people probably don't realize that they are going to other countries as well. We're always focused on our country. Let them in. Don't let them in. Let them in. Don't let them in.
Oh, here we go. I'm sorry. Did I say 600? About 750 men, women, and children were on the packed boat when it capsized last week.
Wow. And where were they going?
This was, which boat was this one?
That's sad. That's a lot of people that died into sea.
I know. Every year, tens of thousands of migrants fleeing war and persecution and poverty risk the treacherous routes to Europe.
So they were going to Europe. Remember we had the issue with the Cubans?
Yes.
And the little boy that got caught over here and had the back and forth with him. But people were always taking a chance, because think about this. And a lot of us, we too weak to even probably think about it and do it ourselves. If for you to take a risk on some boat or some kind of thing to get you from one,
you're trying to get out of there.
You are truly going through some suffering.
Yes.
Because you're like, I'm going to take a risk.
Yep.
And be on this water. This boat may break down, but I don't care, because where I'm coming from is worse.
Now, NBC News says a tale of 2 disasters. Those were 2. Missing Titanic sub captivates the world days after a deadly migrant shipwreck. Nobody talked about it.
Nobody said it.
So anyway, I said this comment on this guy's Facebook page who was talking about being outraged about people making fun of these 5 rich people who went down under the ground. Just really made his blood boil. And he had the nerve to say, it's getting attention. You just read it from the New York Post. Okay. So now we having a stupid conversation. Remember I told you I don't like dumb conversations? If you are saying that me telling people that you didn't even know about this,
I didn't know,
is the same equivalent to this stupid submarine or whatever this was, you are a moron.
It's not the same level of news.
Your response should have been, oh wow, that's horrible news. Like, I'm so glad you brought that to my attention.
Or, yes, you're right, I do know about the migrant boat. But yes, it does need to be.
The press is not the same.
It's not the same, unfortunately. You are right about that. But no, he had to make a little smart mouth comment.
Oh, it's getting press. You saw it on the New York Times. It's getting press. Over 600 people one week. The next week, 750 million.
But what did we say?
100.
But what did we say earlier? People don't care no more.
They don't care.
People don't care about those migrants. They're happy that they're not coming here.
And this is NBC saying this. It's a horrifying and disgusting contrast. Associate Director for Human Rights Watch Europe and Central Asian Division said in a telephone interview, reflecting on the apparent disparity in resources and media attention on two different crises. Where was the boats from all these countries to get those hundreds, thousands of people drowning in the middle of the ocean?
How much did they spend to try to get the 5 people? Other countries even jumped in to save that little so-called submarine.
And what was the media coverage?
These people didn't care about these people.
They didn't care. They didn't care.
They're coming from another country. They're illegal.
These 5 people are billionaires.
We got to care about the money.
We got to care about the people who got money.
People who got money.
They mean more to us than they do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they're going to get more media attention.
Exactly.
They're going to get more resources. Mm-hmm. Where's the condolences to these thousands of families that lost their relatives?
So thank you for telling me that, because that makes me see now that we need to be more
on our media.
Yes.
And on our resources.
They show what they want to show. I'm kind of going back to what Trump said. The media is fake.
Yeah.
It tells what it wants to tell.
And hides what it wants to hide.
What it wants to hide. It wants you to think a certain way, so
well,
they
he
only
does
show
too.
This story.
That's why I hate the fact that he's
utilizing the media.
He's a horrible person to make a good point.
I know.
Because he does the same thing. He uses the media.
So he knows light tracks light.
Exactly.
We alike.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell y'all dirtiness because I want y'all to be dirty, because I'm not.
But I just thought that was interesting. And I like the fact that NBC wrote an article on that.
I'm glad they did.
Even though it's NBC online.
A lot of times, too,
it's never NBC on the TV.
Mama, I was telling Kim, I said a lot of times, too, you hear about this news on 700 Club.
Right.
Other things. It's not just people talking about Christ.
Right.
Oh, and in Zimbabwe, this man was a missionary.
Right.
It's also news like this.
Yes.
Sometimes they'll share a boat of so-and-so people, immigrants was going somewhere, and they passed away. They also do it to keep your prayers for these families. There's people in other countries that are not being safe and they want to flee. And you almost got to be always on the clock praying, because it's not just for yourself, your family, and your country. You're praying for others in other countries that are going through some hardships too.
Yes.
So
I decided to say that because I didn't want to just be one of the people, because we did report on that sub, whatever that thing is.
Yeah, we did.
Submersible. But I also want to report that there were thousands of other people who died the same week.
Yeah, same week, not the same waters, but still water.
But nobody talked about it.
Nobody said
I'm sorry. The New York Times online said something. That's what that moron said on his Facebook.
Okay.
All right.
Next. Speaking of morons.
What is yours?